Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on the West Ham Way YouTube channel with myself, Riley Finch. It is a derby double this week. We've just faced Spurs, 1-1, big draw, big result for us, big improvement from last week as well. But now we turn our heads to Chelsea on Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff. It's going to be an interesting one. I mean, we talked about the Aston Villa game and the kind of reaction that would give us going into the Spurs game. And, we were right. It gave us a really big lift going into the Spurs game. 1-1 on the night. I honestly feel like we could have got a lot more. But, much improved performance. Definitely the performance of the season so far from us. Having to deal with that Spurs side was very, very difficult. I think the biggest thing for me against Spurs was the change of putting Fornals in that left wing back spot. When we were in possession, Fornals played his normal left mid spot. Sort of Benny was in the sort of number 10 role. Sort of the left wing role. And then, Benny was in the 10 role. And then you had Fornals in the left mid spot with Antonio up front and Bowen where he normally resides. However, out of possession, Fornals dropped really, really deep and joined a back five in where Cresswell went from left back and slotted into left centre back, like we've seen him do so many times. Fornals occupied the left wing back spot, and then Benrahma came into a left wing position. And I think this fluidity really, really helped us in the game. It kept players like Son relatively quiet. Obviously, the goal that we did concede was on the break. I did say in my Spurs preview, we cannot just be lacklustre with the ball. We can't give it away cheaply. Gave the ball away cheaply, and we ended up conceding from it. But other than that, I honestly don't think we were that poor against Spurs. I can't really remember too many chances that they had. Whereas on the other side of things, Thilo Kehrer as a ball playing centre back is absolutely class. That pass into the midfield and then Fornals sort of lays it off to Benrahma like he's done so many times this season. And that, the left wing back spot he gets in, he gets so much space that he's able to make that decisive pass into the midfield. Pays it into Antonio. He unfortunately hits the post, but that is exactly what we need to be doing against the teams that we're coming up against. Interestingly, though, Chelsea may not be playing their normal back three/back five. Reece James has suffered an injury. He normally plays quite well against us. He's just suffered an injury, and they played a back four against Southampton with Azpilicueta as the right back. And they look really bad. They look really poor. Chelsea do not play well in a back four. We know this. We've seen this under Tuchel. So I do wonder if we should be playing the sort of wing back that we used against Spurs, or whether we should just go bog standard 4-2-3-1. Go for the formation that we know tends to work. But Chelsea's going to be definitely an interesting one. We thought they had a hiccup against Leeds when they lost 3-0. Got back to winning ways against Leicester, but then we've seen again they've lost to Southampton, like I just said, and they were one goal up. The only good positive thing for Chelsea is that they do have new signings coming in. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has just signed. As of today's recording, it is just after deadline day. Aubameyang has signed for them, and Wesley Fofana has signed for them as well. Maybe sort of shoring up those defensive woes, but they don't have a right back. Azpilicueta playing at right back, he's aging a little bit now. So I feel like if we can get somebody who is going to be running at the right back, a pacey winger like Benrahma is alluding to be, I do feel like we could really have a go at Chelsea. Despite the new signings coming in. And don't forget, we've got new signings coming as well. Lucas Paqueta has signed. He got a little bit of a cameo in the Spurs game, and the roar from the crowd when he came on was immense. I mean, the lift from the Villa game, the lift from signing him, the lift from, drawing against Spurs. I think a couple of weeks ago, if you'd have told us we're drawing against Spurs, you'd be pretty happy with that, considering the way our season has been going so far. So I think the club are on a big high at the moment. I think we've just had one of the best transfer windows we've ever had as a football club. 8 new signings through the door. Probably could have liked a number 8, but our number 8, Thomas Souček, did score, and it was some goal as well. I mean, this is one thing we've talked about with Antonio, is that he needs an understudy. He needs somebody who's going to come in and play when he needs a rest, or just give him a bit of competition. I mean, he himself came out and said, I need competition. I feel too relaxed. And he had a really, really good game against Spurs, which honestly tempts me to start him against Chelsea. That little flick, we've seen it from Antonio so many times. He's so strong, and the way he holds up the ball is brilliant. But that little flick that he puts into Souček, and can't take anything away from the big Czech. He picks up the ball, sort of just gets it under control, and then volleys it past Lloris. It was a great goal, and it's trademark Souček, and it's a hugely improved sort of performance from him. I suppose it's the curse of the Mark Carlow fantasy football team because I've been begging him for weeks, to take him out of his football team, fantasy football team, and then as soon as he does, he scores. So, what do I know? But yeah, I mean, I thought we had a really good performance against Spurs, and then go look into the Chelsea game. I'm really torn because I think the way that system works against Spurs, I don't see how other teams can sort of get part. We look really solid at the back, and it really improved our midfield as well. Having Fornals come in from that left wing back spot and then just running up the pitch taking up the left wing spot allowed both Benrahma to wriggle free because the 6 and the 8 were stepping forward trying to come into Fornals, and it also freed up a little bit of space for Fornals as well. And it meant he's free to kind of make that first time pass into someone like Benrahma. For me, I'd love to see Paqueta start as well. Someone we haven't really spoken about too much is Jarrod Bowen. He had another poor display against Spurs. He doesn't look at it at all. I don't really know what's up with him at the moment. I mean, is he just sort of on a bit of a hangover from last season? Does he does he need to just catch a break? I'm not sure, but I think he's got to be dropped for Chelsea. I really do. Scamacca, he might be a doubt coming into this game. He's got an illness still. Creswell, I don't think will play from what I've read. And Johnson he's kaput. He's definitely not playing. So that does give us a little bit of a decision to make coming into the team. I think Fabianski starts, obviously. Tilo and Zuma start. I mean, Ogbonna is fit now, but I think Tilo and Zuma have established a good partnership for themselves. And I like the idea that, if we are struggling, we can bring Ogbonna on to sort of make that back three. I mean, to be honest, if Creswell's fit, I honestly think he should start because I do want to see that back three system go again because, Sterling is going to be such a hard customer to deal with. Aubameyang too. I feel like we've got to have a player on those at all times. I mean, Tilo was just glued to Heung-min Son on the week, and I think that really helped nullify him. He normally scores against us, but he didn't manage to. So I would like to see a sort of back five going in again in terms of the Fornals role. I mean, that does mean that we've got to either drop Benrahma or drop Paqueta. I don't think Paqueta will start because of Moyes, but I think his cameo for me was enough to convince me that he should be starting. And I think if you want someone to free up not just the left wing spot that Benrahma would play out of possession, but then coming into the midfield and receiving a quick pass in, I just think that's who else would you really want in that position? I honestly think it should be Paqueta, unless you drop Souček, but he has just scored, so I think that's really harsh to drop Souček after he's had such a decent performance. So for me, I think if Creswell's fit, I go Creswell, and then we have Fornals and we go for the sort of out of possession wing back formation. If he's not fit, I think we go Emerson and we just stick to the 4-2-3-1. Or I still feel like Chelsea's attack will be nullified by the back three. Whether they play a back three or not, I still think their attack will be nullified. And I honestly think Tuchel's got to play a back three against us. We don't play well against back threes. Yes, Reece James is injured, but surely he can pick up somebody to play that position. I mean, there's no way that he's going to be playing Azpilicueta as a right back again after what happens against Southampton. So I'm going to stick with the knowledge that they will be going for a back three, but we could see a back four here on Saturday. So that is something to look out for. Yeah, I'm going Soufal right back. Obviously, we almost lost Johnson on deadline day, but Ashby on deadline day. But I do think we should stick with Soufal just because it's what we know and love. It's he's been pretty decent. I think he's not quite. I think we're missing Johnson when we see Soufal play. I think Ashby's more going to be like a cup sort of right back. I don't think he's earned the right to play over Soufal just yet. So, like I said, if Creswell is fit, I'd love to see him play so we can go for the back five. If he's not fit, then I think Emerson could take up that role. But I still think he can play left centre back. Keep Rice and Souček in the midfield for me. I think you're going to do it. I think, you could play Paqueta as an 8, but it'd be harsh to drop Souček right now. And then left wing spot, I'm going for Fornals, or left mid spot, sorry. And like I say, he's going to drop into that back five when we are out of possession. Bit harsh. I mean, I didn't think I had a great performance against Spurs, but I think I'll drop Benrahma and then have Paqueta in the 10th position. I don't think Moyes is going to do it. I mean, he alluded in his last press conference that Paqueta will need time to settle into the Premier League. So for him to say that and then start him on Saturday, I just think, It just wouldn't make sense to me. So I don't think he's going to start him. Personally, myself, I would start him. And then I'm going Antonio on the right wing and Scamacca up top. Look, if Scamacca is back to full fitness, if he's not ill, I think you start him against Chelsea. But Antonio's not he's not droppable for me right now. You can't drop him. And I think Bowen, for me, needs a bit of a kick up the arse. He needs to get dropped. He needs a break. He needs to. And I think that's the only way you really can get at a player and say, you're not playing well, so you need to be dropped. I think the only way you can really get that through their head is if they actually are sitting on the bench and think to themselves, wow, like, I really need to kind of start picking up my performances because I don't want to be on the bench and I shouldn't be on the bench. So yeah, for me, I'm playing a 4-2-3-1. I'm playing Fabianski, Tilo Zuma, Soufal, Emerson, or well, Creswell if he's fit. I don't think he will be. So Emerson, and then I'm going Rice, Souček. I'm going Fornals, Paqueta, Antonio, and Scamacca. And I think that's really the best we can do at the moment. I don't want anything too drastic from West Ham. I think we had a good performance against Villa. It's mediocre, but a good performance. It was a good result for us. And then we played really well against Spurs. And I think the fact that it is a derby as well might have had something to come into it. I think we did play really, really well with the crowd behind us as well. I think when that first goal went in and that penalty, it just sort of felt like another game where we're just gonna, we're gonna get lost. We're gonna get sort of beaten. But we didn't roll over. We came back early in the second half. We scored, and I think we had a lot of chances. Talking about Paqueta though, I don't think it's really that harsh for Moyes to not play him on Saturday. It's a bit of a hot take, but that situation where the ball was fizzed in really well and Emerson and Paqueta both left it, I think that is a show that maybe he's not quite gelled into our squad just yet, because I feel like even if someone just yelled the word someone must have yelled the word leave it or something, and he must have got confused or something. I don't really know. I don't really know why he left it, but you'd like to think sort of in a more well-known sort of scenario for him in a squad that he's been playing with for a little couple of weeks, he'd know that it's his job to just smash that if it comes to him. And I think that alone shows that maybe he's just not quite ready. He just needs a little bit more fine-tuning with the squad. So I do think it's totally understandable if Moyes doesn't play him on Saturday. But I think, post that, he's got to start playing. He's got to start playing. And it's a derby. He's gonna be up for it. So I personally would start Paqueta, but I can understand if Moyes doesn't. I think we're really up for this game. We're on a high against Spurs. We're coming into this game in decent form. Chelsea, honestly, alarm bells should be ringing for Chelsea right now. I know they've got Fofana coming in, and he's a top centre back. I believe Koulibaly's still. I think it was 2 yellows, so I can't remember if that's 2 or 1 game ban. So I'm not entirely sure if he'll be starting. I think he is allowed to start. Fofana and Koulibaly at the back with is it Chalobah? I think they normally play, or Thiago Silva. Sorry, they normally play. That is a big physical back line. There's a big physical back line, but it's a back line that you can really run at, and them not having Reece James is going to be really, really good for us. Not only is he really good defensively, but coming forward when we get overloaded on the flanks, having someone like Reece James come in who can put a decent cross in or B, even a decent shot in, is really dangerous for us. I think we'll be well up for the game. I'm not really held as Mr. Positivity on this channel. I try to be as realistic as I can, try to be as unbiased as I can. But honestly, this week, I think we're going to draw to Chelsea 1-1. I'm honestly tempted to say we're going to win 2-1. But I think we're just going to lack that extra gear against Chelsea. And I think historically as well, we're very unlucky against Chelsea. We seem to play well when we're at Stamford Bridge, but we don't always seem to get that kind of goal that we need. So yeah, I'm going for 1-1. Let me know your predictions down below, and thanks for watching.